Hi, grade ones. Today I am here to read you a story for a math challenge. And the story that I want to read you is called Equal Schmeequal. And we know that this symbol is an equal symbol or an equal sign, and that is a symbol that we see often when we are doing addition or subtraction. And when you get older into grades 2 and 3, you'll also see it when you are doing multiplication and division. But that's not the only purpose of an equal sign. And that's what we're going to find out about in this story, Equal Schmeequal. And we're going to learn a little bit about what this equal sign really means. So I'm going to move up nice and close so that you can see the pictures in this story. And then I'm going to challenge you to an assignment, okay? So here we go. Equal Schmeequal. And it is written by Virginia Kroll and illustrated by Philomena O'Neill. A little brown mouse sat under a leaf watching a school picnic. The children finished eating and began to play. Some played tag, some chose teams for a game. "The two sides have to be equal," one of them shouted. That actually sounds familiar. I think I've heard kids say that at recess time when we were playing soccer. The children pulled on the ends of the rope. One team was pulled over a line. The other team cheered, "Hooray! We won! We won!" Then one of the teachers called to the children. They all got into a big yellow bus that drove off down the road. All was quiet. That looked like fun. "Hey, Bear," called Mouse. "Come out and play." Bear walked out from the trees. "What do you want to play?" "It's a game," squeaked Mouse. "You take one end of the rope and I'll take the other. We both pull to see who wins." Who do you think would win, Mouse or Bear? I think I could make a pretty good prediction. Bear gave the rope a mighty yank. Mouse flew across the field. She landed on the ground with a thump. "Hey," said Bear, "where did you go?" "No fair," squeaked Mouse. She picked herself up. "I forgot that teams have to be equal." "Equal Schmeequal," said Bear. Suddenly, sharp claws grabbed Mouse. It was Bobcat. "Gotcha," he snarled. "Hey, help!" squealed Mouse. Bear stood up on his hind legs and growled. "Let Mouse go right now." Bobcat whimpered. "I just want to join the game." "See, Wolf's right here. He wants to play too." Wolf stepped out into the open. Mouse brushed off her fur. She said in her bravest little voice, "Of course you guys can play, as long as the teams are equal." "Equal Schmeequal," said Bear. He reached into one of the trash cans and pulled out a half-eaten sandwich. Rabbit hopped into the field. "Can we play too?" Rabbit asked. Box Turtle plodded close behind. "What does equal mean anyways?" he asked. "Equal means fair," explained Mouse. "We should divide into two equal teams somehow." "Equal Schmeequal," Bear mumbled with a mouthful of chocolate cake. "Let's try meat eaters against plant eaters," said Rabbit. "That would be fair." "What about Turtle and me?" asked Mouse. "We eat anything small enough." "Well," said Rabbit, "what are your favorite foods?" Mouse replied, "I like blackberries best." "I eat mostly bugs," said Turtle, "but my favorite food is dandelions." "If you like plants best, you belong on my team," said Rabbit. "So it's animals that eat only meat against the rest of us." Bobcat laughed. "You think this is equal? Ha ha ha!" With just one hard pull, he and Wolf yanked Mouse, Rabbit, and Turtle across the line. They landed in a heap. That wasn't equal, Turtle complained, peeking from his shell. Bobcat said, everyone with fur, go to one side. Everyone without fur, go to the other. But that left only Turtle on a team. That couldn't be equal. Does anyone know what halves are? Rabbit asked. I've heard the farmer talking about halves. Halves are what you get when you make two groups with the same number, Mouse said. We can't make halves because there are 5 of us. Just then, Mouse saw Hooves behind a bush. Hey, she said, maybe Deer will want to play. Then we can make halves. And we learned about that because we know in order to make halves even, you need to have an even number. Right now they only have 5. So if they had 6 players, then they could have 3 on each team. Deer slowly stepped out of the woods. It looks like fun, she said, but I want to keep an eye on Wolf and Bobcat, so I'll pull from behind them. The animals lined up, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. They pulled, but once again, Mouse, Rabbit, and Turtle were easily dragged over the line. No fair, complained Rabbit. They're all big and we're all small, so it isn't equal at all. You're right, said Mouse. The numbers are equal, but that doesn't make the teams equal. Equal schmeequal, Bear exclaimed, finishing off a slice of pizza. He doesn't look too worried about the game at all, is he? He's just worried about eating. The animals scowled at each other. Everyone began talking at the same time. It's no fair. You're much bigger. You're just mad because you lost. You don't care if the teams are equal as long as you win. Mouse sat by herself and tried to think of a new idea. She tapped a tiny foot and twirled a wiry whisker. Listen, said Mouse. Listen up, she said louder. I have an idea. The animals stopped fighting. Well, asked Bobcat, what's your great idea? I thought that instead of equal numbers, she explained, our teams could have equal weights. We could use the seesaw to figure it out. Look, said Mouse, when what's on one side of the seesaw is equal to what's on the other side of the seesaw balances. You can tell because it's straight across. Okay, said Turtle. Let me get on first since I can't jump. He walked onto one end of the seesaw, touching the ground. I'll get on the other side, Wolf said. Wolf jumped onto the center of the seesaw and made his way to the end. Turtle was lifted high up into the air. He looked down the long way to the ground and tried not to be scared. Now this is actually reminding me of a measurement activity that Mrs. Proby was just talking about using a scale and weight. Deer got up on Turtle's side. Their side sank down and Wolf rose up into the air. I'm next, shouted Bobcat. He got onto Wolf's side, but Wolf and Bobcat together were still up into the air. With a mighty hop, Rabbit landed in front of Bobcat. Now the seesaw was almost balanced. Can you see it straight across? So it looks pretty balanced. Mouse scampered up next to Deer. The seesaw teetered back and forth before resting perfectly straight across. Now the teams were balanced. And that's what you try to do when you weigh 2 items. You want to make sure that they're balanced. We did it! We're equal, Mouse squeaked. Then Bear looked up from his crumbs and ran over roaring, Wait for me! He jumped on, and down went his side of the seesaw with a bump. Deer, Mouse, and Turtle went flying into the air. Oops, said Bear. I guess it's not equal anymore. We can get this right," Mouse said cheerfully. "Let's try again. Bear, you get on first." So Bear sat on one end with the other end high in the air. Bobcat offered to get on the high side first. "If I fall, I'll land on my feet. Cats always do." The rest of the animals got on. Each one made Bear's side lift a little. Finally, all the animals were on except for Mouse. "Come on," shouted Rabbit, "we're almost equal." Mouse jumped onto the middle of the seesaw. Bear's side was higher, so she walked right towards him. The seesaw was perfectly balanced. You can see that only on this side is just Bear and Mouse. And then on this side we have Turtle and Deer and Rabbit and Bobcat and Wolf. And now it is equal. Now they are balanced. They jumped off one by one and picked up the rope. Bear and Mouse were on one side of the line and all the other animals were on the other side. "Okay," said Mouse. "Now the teams have equal weight. Whichever team pulls the other across this line wins." Bear and Mouse pulled. Turtle, Rabbit, Bobcat, Wolf, and Deer pulled back. "I'm bigger than all of you," said Bear. "I'll win." "Come on," said Rabbit to her teammates. "There are more of us. Pull harder." They pulled and tugged, but neither team moved an inch. "What if no one can win?" asked Rabbit. Suddenly, they heard a loud buzzing overhead. "Bees!" shouted Bear. "There must be honey nearby." He took one paw off the rope to point at the swarm of bees. Just then, the other team gave a mighty pull and Bear stepped over the line. "Hooray!" said Rabbit. "We won! We won!" "But the teams were equal," said Deer. "How did we win?" "What really matters is equal effort," said Mouse. "When we all pulled our hardest, the effort was equal. That's why no one could win. But when Bear saw the bees, he forgot to pull. The effort wasn't equal anymore." "Equal schmeequal," said Bear. "I want some honey." Mouse laughed. "Time for a honey break," she said. The animals followed the bees to their hive in a tree. There was more than enough honey for everyone, and they shared it all equally. And that's the end of the story. Now, at the very end of this book, there is a really important message about what it means to be equal. So I want to read that to you. And it says, "In math, to be equal means to have parts that are the same in weight, the same in size, quantity, which means how many, or other measure. In art, equal can mean symmetry, which means you can draw a line through the middle of a picture and one half will look just like the other. And I'll show you what that means. So if I drew a heart, I'll try and make it equal. I drew a line down the middle, then it would be equal on each side. That's a line of symmetry. In law, equal means having the same opportunities, rights, and privileges. In sports teams, the teams have equal numbers. All of the players must give their best effort in order to have the best chance of winning. And that's what it means to be equal. Now we're going to just talk a little bit about math and what it means to be equal in math. And I'm missing my eraser here. Because when we add and subtract, we use that equal sign a lot. We use it usually right before our answer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be at the end of an equation. It can also be at the beginning of an equation. So I'm going to show you a few examples of how we can make something equal. So I'm going to draw a picture. I'm going to draw some stars here. Okay, Now I have 7 stars. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I could draw, here's my equal sign, and we're going to pretend that equal sign is like the teeter-totter in the story. So whatever is on this side needs to balance with whatever is on this side. Now if I were to draw a number sentence, 3 plus 4, that would mean that both sides would be equal, because over here we have a picture that represents the number 7. And over here, I now have an equation that represents and equals the number 7. So we could say that both sides of the equation is balanced. It doesn't have to be numbers on both sides. We could have pictures, but as long as the quantity represents the same amount. So we're going to do a couple more. Okay. The next one we're going to do is, I'm going to do a 10 frame. So here, drawing a 10 frame, dividing it in half, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay? Now I'm going to color in, let's do 9. Okay, now I'm going to draw my equal sign, and that's our teeter-totter, so we know that whatever we put on this side of the equal sign needs to represent the same amount as what's on this side. So I'm going to draw a subtraction sentence this time. Okay, my subtraction sentence says 10 minus 1. And you can figure that out on your head or on your fingers. So if I have 10 and I take 1 away, I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left. So 10 minus 1 represents 9. And over in our 10 frame here, we also have 9. So both sides of the equal sign are balanced. They both are the same. Okay, now we're going to do a couple of different ones, and we're going to show some equations that are not balanced, okay? So I'm going to do, let me see. Okay, I have an addition sentence over here, which is 4 plus 4. And over here, I'm going to do, okay, let's take a look and let's see if these equations are balanced. Remember, this equal sign is like our teeter-totter. It has to represent the same amount on each side to be equal. So here we have 4 plus 4. That represents 8. 3 minus 1 represents 2. Is that equal? Is 8 the same amount as 2? Definitely not, right? This is 8 and this is 2. So that is not equal. So we're going to try another one that is not equal. I'm going to draw, oh, I have an idea. I'm going to draw a pizza. And my pizza has, 8 pieces. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'm going to put an equal sign over here, and now I'm going to draw a picture over here. I'm going to draw happy faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have 8 pieces of pizza. Is that equal to 5 happy faces? That is not equal. That does not represent the same amount. So that would not be equal. And to show when something is not equal, sometimes we put a line through that equal sign, and then that says it's not equal. That means it's not the same. Okay, the last example we're going to do, and then I'm going to set you on your way for your assignment, okay? We're going to do 2 addition sentences, and we're going to see if we can make them equal. So I'm going to give you a tricky one. Let's do 7 plus 6, okay? Now, I'm going to see if we can figure out what we can do to this side of the equal sign to make it balanced, to make it equal. So we know that 7 plus 6 equals 13. So on this side of the equation, I want to try and make a different addition sentence that will also equal 13. So let's start with, how about if we start with 9? 9 plus what? What do we need to put into that spot to make it equal to 13? Well, here we can use that counting on strategy. So let's put 9 in our heads, and we're going to count on until we get to 13. Are you ready? Go. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I counted 4. So 9 plus 4 equals 13. And now my equations are balanced. Now they are equal. All right, so now is your challenge. Here is what I want you to do. On this printable balancing equations, you're going to see at the very bottom, there are some addition equations, and some of them are balanced, which means equal. Some of them are not balanced, which means they are not equal. So you're going to cut them out, and you're going to glue the equations that are equal or balanced. You're going to glue them under the heading that says balanced. The ones that are not balanced, you're going to glue them under the section that says not balanced. And it looks like there should be 6 balanced equations, 6 not balanced equations. Then, I love this part. It says write 4 equations that are true. So then you're going to make your own and try and write 4 balanced equations. Over here, write 4 equations that are not balanced or not true. Okay? So I wish you good luck with this activity. We would love to see your work. And thanks for joining me today for Balancing Equations. Have fun.